Hanya dengan sedikit imajinasi apapun bisa dibangun dengan kepingan batu blok mini. Inilah konsep sederhana Lego. Kisah Lego yang dimulai 80 tahun lalu kini telah melewati berbagai momentum bisnis. Lalu bagaimana perjalanan sebuah bengkel pembuat mainan kayu di kota kecil Denmark bisa menjadi salah satu brand terbesar di industri mainan? Inilah program Special Bloomberg Insight yang mengajak Anda melihat sebuah korporasi lebih dalam. Kali ini kita akan melihat sepak terjang bisnis Lego bersama saya, Olivia Marzuki.
Lego bisa dibilang mainan paling populer di dunia. Saat ini ada sekitar 650 miliar keping Lego yang dibuat sejak pertama kali perusahaan ini berdiri di tahun 1932. Ini membuat Lego menjadi perusahaan mainan terbesar kedua di dunia setelah Mattel yang terkenal dengan boneka Barbie. Tapi tidak seperti Mattel, Lego masih sepenuhnya dimiliki oleh keluarga Ole Kirk Christiansen, pendiri perusahaan sekaligus penggagas nama Lego. Nama ini diadaptasi dari Light God yang berarti bermain dengan baik. Setelah membuat mainan kayu berbentuk mobil dan pesawat, Christiansen membeli mesin pencetak plastik pertama di Denmark. Ia pun mulai memproduksi kepingan bata kecil yang bisa saling menempel. Desain yang dibuat ternyata sukses. Bahkan, setiap kepingan Lego yang dibuat setelah tahun 1958 akan bisa ditempelkan dengan potongan Lego manapun yang dijual saat ini. Selama puluhan tahun, konsumen utama Lego adalah anak laki-laki berusia sekitar 9 tahun. Tapi setelah mengalami kerugian besar di tahun 1998 dan hampir bangkrut, Lego berusaha bangkit kembali. Salah satu caranya dengan menyasar anak perempuan dan juga fans dewasa Lego. Langkah ini bahkan membuat keuntungan Lego melampaui Apple sepanjang tahun 2007 sampai 2011. Dan pada tahun 2019, diperkirakan akan lebih banyak orang-orangan Lego dibanding jumlah manusia di muka bumi. Kini, Lego juga berekspansi ke layar lebar. Film Lego seakan menghidupkan para karakter yang ada dalam dunia Lego. Lego pun kembali menjadi sorotan. Tentu, ini tidak terjadi secara instan, karena Lego harus melewati dulu perjalanan panjang selama 82 tahun.
Mulai dari mainan sampai hiburan layar lebar, berbagai strategi diambil Lego untuk bisa bersaing merebut pasar mainan dunia. Dalam industri ini, Lego merupakan salah satu pemain terbesar dunia berdekatan dengan produsen boneka Barbie Mattel. Produknya tak hanya digemari oleh anak-anak tapi juga orang dewasa. Sejauh mana gebrakan film Lego bisa mendongkrak kinerja perusahaan? Berikut kisahnya.
Kepingan Lego, boneka Barbie, atau Angry Bird. Pilihan ini akan menentukan seperti apa nasib produsen mainan dunia ke depan. Di tahun 2012, nilai pasar mainan dunia mencapai 84,1 miliar dolar atau sekitar 950 triliun rupiah. Namun, angka ini bisa berubah bila pilihan orang semakin banyak beralih ke digital dibanding membeli mainan fisik. Sejumlah perusahaan mainan pun mulai mencari cara untuk beradaptasi dengan pasar yang mulai berganti warna. Salah satunya dengan menggabungkan elemen mainan fisik dengan aplikasi digital. Penggunaan berbagai media dalam memasarkan mainan diperkirakan menjadi tren dalam beberapa waktu ke depan.
The trend that we've seen progress throughout the years, and the most recent leadership of this has been happening with Skylanders, and recently with Disney Infinity, where you're able to now play video games and also have a figurine as well. So it's combining a collectible item with video game platform. These plastic figurines that have a narrative attached to them, and they use a near-field communication technology which puts the figurine that you have physically onto the screen that you're playing with. So you're able to almost have your figurine and use their sort of narratives in sort of playing with them on the video game.
Selain mencoba berbagai media untuk memasarkan produk, para produsen mainan dunia juga semakin agresif menggarap wilayah baru dunia. Asia menjadi ladang bisnis yang paling menjanjikan. Pada tahun 2010, NPD Group mencatat pertumbuhan angka pendapatan di Asia menembus 20%. Sampai tahun ini pun, wilayah Asia masih terus memimpin dibanding wilayah lain di dunia.
Help us put it in perspective, how important will Asia be in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of revenue for the company?
Well, today it's about 10% of our business, and we think, over the long term, we're going to see the world into 3 regions, sort of the 3 vertical regions, I call it: the Europe, Africa, Middle East region, the Asia region, and then the Americas region. And I think ultimately those regions will one day become of equal size or about of equal size. So I think we're on a journey of major expansion where the next 5 to 10 years, the major growth driver for the LEGO Group is going to be the Asia region. And indeed, in the first 6 months of this year, it already was the biggest contributor to our overall growth.
Keberadaan Asia sebagai pasar penting industri mainan mulai terasa oleh produsen mainan dunia. Di Indonesia, LEGO bahkan berani membuka sebuah toko eksklusif untuk menggarap pasar emerging market yang menjanjikan.
Pertumbuhan tinggi membuat perusahaan mainan dunia termasuk LEGO lebih berani mengambil langkah bisnis di Asia. Nuansa itu juga terasa di toko ini. Ini adalah toko LEGO eksklusif pertama di Indonesia. Berbagai pilihan tersedia untuk penggemar LEGO, termasuk untuk membuat instalasi khas masing-masing negara.
Dari kitanya gitu, maksudnya dari pemain LEGO atau mungkin orang-orang yang hobi freak banget sama LEGO itu, mereka bisa create dari part-part yang ada di LEGO ini untuk bikin sesuatu yang Indonesia gitu.
Oke, baik. Nah, kalau kita lihat segini nih.
Ya, contohnya seperti ini.
Ini contohnya bisa seperti ini jadinya. Ini ya, Indonesia sekali, ini gedung
Indonesia sekali.
Ikonik ada, Jakarta, ada Monas, ya, ada ini BNI
ada BNI, ada Wisma Mandala.
Oh, ini gedung pancorannya juga ya?
Ya, ada patung pancoran juga.
Sebelumnya, LEGO dijual bersama-sama dengan brand lain di toko mainan. Tapi di bulan Desember tahun lalu, LEGO Indonesia mulai membuka toko eksklusif. Setiap hari, ada sekitar 100 hingga 200 pengunjung datang, dan bagi fans LEGO, toko ini seperti surga kecil.
Di rumah udah punya berapa banyak LEGO?
Udah punya banyak.
Banyak banget? Ya. Main LEGO dibandingin sama mainan lain, apa sih enaknya main LEGO?
Mikir atau ngapain gitu, jadi waktunya keisi. Kalau main iPad jadi pusing, jadi enakan main LEGO gitu.
Biar lebih kreatif gitu ya?
Iya.
Ya pasti jadi lebih kreatif, misalnya dari awal dari kecil, bisa jadi besar. Banyaknya juga dari konsep, dari teknik, dari LEGO yang 3-in-1 dari awal bisa jadi mobil, bisa jadi pesawat, bisa jadi banyaknya macamnya. Kalau LEGO emang untuk kreativitas banget.
Oke.
Lonjakan kelas menengah dan daya beli di Asia Pasifik membuat wilayah ini diprediksi menjadi pasar mainan tradisional terbesar di dunia dalam beberapa tahun ke depan. Di Asia, mainan tradisional dianggap punya manfaat tinggi untuk membantu perkembangan fisik dan mental anak. Ini pula yang membuat banyak orang tua masih mengarahkan anak untuk menggunakan mainan tradisional dibanding mainan digital.
Kalau iPad elektronik banget, jadi kan baterainya bisa habis. Kalau LEGO bisa dibentuk-bentuk.
Selama masih ada anak-anak yang memilih boneka, kepingan plastik, atau mobil mini, produsen mainan tradisional dunia masih berharap untung. Tapi tanda peringatan mulai bermunculan, karena semakin lama, semakin banyak anak-anak yang mahir bermain di tablet berteknologi tinggi, bahkan sebelum bisa bicara dengan lancar.
Stuff and you tell me what it is, okay? I'll ask you a question and you tell me the answer, okay? All right. 1 second. What's your name?
Superman.
Superman? What's this?
Baseball.
Baseball. Very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What shape is that?
Triangle.
Very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What color is that?
Green.
What color?
Green.
Very good. Can I see it? Tyler, will you turn this on and play your new Cars 2 game?
Berbagai macam strategi diambil perusahaan untuk tetap berjaya, tapi satu pertanyaan penting yang harus terjawab, apa sebenarnya yang diinginkan konsumen? Tantangan ini tentu juga dimiliki oleh LEGO. Tetaplah bersama Insight.
Sekarang, LEGO Group dikenal karena kepingan plastik LEGO. Tapi saat berdiri di tahun 1932, perusahaan ini memulai dengan memproduksi mainan kayu. 1960, kebakaran melanda pabrik perusahaan. Sejak kejadian tersebut, perusahaan asal Denmark memutuskan fokus memproduksi mainan berbahan dasar plastik saja, yaitu Lego. Lego hadir dengan berbagai keunikannya, misal hanya dengan 6 potongan Lego, Anda bisa merangkai 915 juta kombinasi susunan. Lahirnya sejumlah permainan baru mulai menggoyahkan perusahaan akan masa depan permainan tersebut. Pada akhir 90-an, Lego mulai merambah dunia video games.
We started to lose faith in the Lego brick and the construction toys, and we started to spread our focus out on various areas of our business. We wanted to open up new Legolands around the world. Huge tasks that takes a lot of focus away from our core business.
Dalam 1 dekade terakhir, pertumbuhan Lego berhasil menembus 2 digit setiap tahunnya. Kini, popularitas permainan ini semakin menanjak dan mendapat banyak fans dewasa. Karena di tangan setiap orang, kepingan Lego bisa menjadi bentuk apa saja, bahkan tergolong karya seni.
Anda kembali bersama Insight, program yang menggali lebih dalam sejumlah perusahaan dunia yang memimpin di industrinya. Kompetisi di industri mainan semakin keras dan mencari tahu apa yang paling diinginkan konsumen selalu menjadi target para produsen mainan. Dan apa yang dilakukan oleh Lego untuk bisa tetap bersaing? Ikuti wawancara khusus Haslinda Amin dengan CEO Lego, Jørgen Vig Knudstrup.
Jørgen, you said before that we don't stop playing when we grow old old when we stop playing. How do you stay relevant to not just kids, but adults?
Yeah, I think that quote encapsulates it very well. We say we want to nurture children of all ages because we think it's interesting that, you know, when you're a child, you role play immediately and with sort of it's natural. But when you grow old, you need to go to acting school to become an actor and role play again. So there's something about creativity disappearing as we grow older. We think something of that is the school system, but it's also because we have a word, we say like, oh, you're behaving childish now. But there's nothing wrong with being childish if it means that you're curious, you're learning all the time, you're bettering your knowledge. So we try to make it cool to be playful. We try to promote the value of play in the school system. And we also try to do it by creating products that adults can be proud of and say, wow, I actually built this Lego Technic model. It was actually a fun experience.
But how do you know what people want?
That's a big question, but we involve a lot our adult fans. Lego has an amazing number of fans just here in Asia. We have more than 100,000 registered fans and many, many more as well, even here in the town of Singapore. I've met a number of them. We also talk to a lot of kids. We bring in 3,000 to 4,000 children just for our Lego Friends product development effort, which is our theme to girls. So we have children in our offices every week.
For a very long time, Lego was pretty much focused on boys, unintentionally perhaps. But now it's gone the other way, taking care of the girls as well for a very long time as well. Moms are saying, my daughters are being shortchanged. Yeah. How do you cater to the girls, and how has that helped your business grow?
It has helped us a lot because, of course, what we've done with a line like Lego Friends is that we become more topically relevant to girls. They find us more cool, more attractive. We knew all along we had a lot of girls playing with Lego bricks, also adult women, quite a big, playing with Lego bricks, but we needed something that didn't speak so much to what boys thought was really cool. We needed something where girls would say, wow, that's sweet, that's something I want to play with. And so we developed Lego Friends, and that has grown our business tremendously because now we can truly say we're appealing to a core audience, girls and boys between age 1.5 and 12 years old.
It is interesting that you need to get creative, but you also need to get it right the first time. Yes. Because 50% of your sales come within 6 to 8 weeks, if I got it right, yes. And that is during the holiday season, yeah. To do with Christmas. Yes. How do you get it right all the time? What processes do you go through?
It's a very deliberate innovation process that lasts a couple of years. Some themes we develop on a shorter time horizon, but when we launch a major new theme, such as the Legends of Chima, which is our major successful effort this year, it's an effort that's been going on for 2 to 3 years, involving a lot of kids trying to understand what is particularly cool right now. So for instance, on his predecessor Ninjago. I remember sitting in a session, we're developing a dragon, and a boy said, "Oh, but wouldn't it be cool if the dragon was made of ice?" And I said, "Wait a minute, how is that going to happen? You know, that's not my image of a dragon," but that's what they thought were cool. And so the ability to capture that is essential, and it happens through very thorough dialogue and in-depth studies.
Are you intending to diversify?
Not at all.
Why not?
We think if you are really producing a very simple but globally applicable idea, stick with that. Don't try to go into things where you are not world-class, because we believe we're absolutely world-class in our product, and many people have tried, many people are roaming on our system, so to speak, but they're not coming close to our level of innovation and world-class excellence.
But what if people stop wanting to build bricks?
Yeah, that's a question I sometimes think about late at night. Will they ever stop doing it? But so far I'm just finding everywhere I go, people love this idea. And I think it's our job to make sure it stays globally relevant and appealing. I use the phrase a lot internally. I say, we want to be irresistible, but also irreplaceable.
Themes. You have themes. You've bought licenses to produce the likes of Star Wars, for instance. Is that the way to go for the future?
It is an important way of making imagination relevant to a child. Once they've seen a great movie like Star Wars, they'd say, "Wow, what if I was in that universe? What if I was on that planet?" So that makes it immediately appealing. But there are also more simple themes, everyday themes, like, you know, what if I was a fireman? What if I was building on a construction site? So this is an important part of playing with Lego, because Lego is about imagining. And so the themes help that imagination. But we also sell still a lot of Lego bricks that are not themed, just because people like to be creative on their own terms.
Who do you consider as your biggest competitor?
Well, when I think about competitors, I sort of have a sort of three layers I look at. First of all, I look at the layer of people who try to pretend to be almost like us. And of course I want to make sure we're constantly better than they are. Then there's the bigger space of the toy market, where there are many things you can play with as a child, and we're just, you know, a part of that. I think the really important distinction is what is spent on children. So that's the third distinction. You know, you as a parent, you spend money on your child. What proportion of that goes towards Lego? Because I think we're really more competing against the likes of fan membership of sports clubs, like you know, if you're a fan of a major soccer club, you spend all your money there, or do you bring it to Lego because you really love Lego? And that's what I mean by being irreplaceable, is that I want to make sure that we have that precision in a child's life.
Apa saja yang bisa dibuat orang dengan kepingan Lego mereka? Tetaplah bersama Inside.
My name is Nag Odekar, COO of ForeverCar.com, and I build large architectural buildings with Lego. I love Chicago architecture, and I think the skyscrapers are fantastic. If you take a look at the Lego building from far away without any context of space and size, you'll probably think that is the real building. Lego is about building something from nothing. It's easy to build a set because the directions are there. What's much more creative is to do something from your own imagination. It's an unusual hobby, and I feel it combines not just art, but it combines science and mathematics. When I approach work, you have to build a framework of what your strategy is, what the outcomes are, and what are the tactics you have to get done, and what the measurements are. Just like that, Lego is all about planning. All of these buildings take more than 2 to 3 months just to figure out what the structural integrity is going to look like. Building Lego buildings takes me away from the frenzy of the corporate world, really relaxes me, where I can just use my hands and my creative process, take my time and build things. People look at this and it immediately comes to, I want to show my kids this. They get so excited and they almost get giddy looking at it. It's like their ultimate dream toy. My whole dream is to actually build a Lego city, not just with skyscrapers, but with trains and train stations where they could move, with trees and houses. And I think I'm going to get there.
Iya, membangun replika kota seperti yang baru saja Anda lihat bukanlah hal yang baru bagi para penggemar Lego. Pilihan yang dikeluarkan Lego memang bisa dinikmati oleh anak-anak dan juga orang dewasa.
Di ibu kota Denmark, Copenhagen, 10.000 orang berdatangan ke satu tempat. Bukan konser atau pertandingan sepak bola. Ini adalah Lego Brick Fair. Acara ini digelar bagi penggemar Lego tanpa pandang usia. Para penggemar dewasa bahkan datang untuk saling unjuk kemahiran membangun instalasi Lego. Acara seperti inilah yang menginspirasi para perancang Lego.
This year I got my first brick. It's a round tile with a hole in the middle. But with this tile, it is a smooth surface and with less torque. So now my motors can run more freely.
Lego sangat ketat mengatur set mainan dan merek perusahaan. Menerima ide penggemar bukanlah hal yang mudah. Sebelumnya Lego menolak saran penggemar, namun kini mereka mulai menerimanya dengan tangan terbuka.
And then they welcomed it with open arms, and so much actually that they set into life a community, a special community for Mindstorms fans.
Martin berasal dari Belanda. Ia bekerja sama dengan penggemar Lego Mindstorms lain yang lebih berpengalaman. Beberapa kepingan bisa diprogram untuk bereaksi atas sensor dan mengoperasikan motor yang menggerakkan ban berjalan ini. Bagi para penggemar, memahami teknologi kepingan Lego sama pentingnya dengan memainkannya.
What we actually do here is sometimes, well, we call it reverse engineering. We look what Lego did, and we look inside, and then we try to figure out, by the way, how did they do that? Now, if you look at some other brands, they are very close. They don't want you to look at what is inside. Lego actually opened up, and they said, after some time, here's all the instructions, here's the whole thing, here's how we build it.
Lego bukan hanya memuaskan penggemar, tapi juga mempekerjakan mereka. Seperti Lasse, karyanya begitu memukau sehingga Lego menawarinya pekerjaan.
We started traveling the world with Lego, just showing off inventions. We've done big sorting machines, we've done blimps, we've done forklifts, and just showing kids how big you can think with Lego. That there's really no limitation. You can do whatever you want, just if you just have the imagination and the patience.
Kepingan Lego di dunia begitu banyak jumlahnya. Bila dibagi rata ke seluruh penduduk bumi, setiap orang bisa mendapat 80 keping Lego. Bagaimana kepingan ini dibuat? Mari kita ikuti perjalanan David Tweed ke pabrik Lego.
If Lego figurines were humans, there'd be enough of them to populate Asia. Lego's other components are in the hundreds of billions. Producing that many is like a military operation.
This is where the bricks are made. Plastic pellets are shot by air along these pipes. They're delivered into this machine where they're heated into a sort of a dough that's then injected into this mold. And the incredible thing is the precision that means that each brick that comes out of here can click and stick onto any other brick that's being made by Lego.
So many parts are made, Lego has a surprising way to ferry them out.
See this behind me? It's a robot. There's no driver. It goes around and collects the bricks. But don't worry, it won't bump into me.
Once the parts are made, they're sent for decoration and assembly.
Each of these can have as many as 12 levels of detail added to it. And you can see on this machine, each of these stages is adding a level of paint before they're flipped over and they're painted on the back. I find this assembly machine absolutely mesmerizing because there are 35 different steps here. They're adding the arms to the torsos, then the hands to the arms. There's one part of this process that we're not allowed to show you at the moment. They're painting the faces of some new figurines that aren't going to come out until next year. Absolutely no cameras, top secret.
With so many parts being thrown together, it's a miracle the right ones end up in the right bag. Or is it?
They used to do that by hand, loads of room for error. Now they've got these machines. This one's doing grey bricks. I've got a yellow one here. It's the wrong shape, it's the wrong size, rejected.
Now it's the third and final phase, packaging. These boxes are put together with absolute precision. Any scuffs on the box or bits poking out are snapped up by super smart cameras and sensors. This one product line sees 1,400 boxes packed up every hour. And that's how Lego's made. David Tweed, Bloomberg.
Dan perjalanan David Tui tadi sekaligus menutup Insight kali ini. Ikuti sepak terjang berbagai perusahaan besar dunia, mulai dari keberhasilan sampai titik balik dari kegagalan dalam edisi Insight berikutnya. Saya Olivia Marzuki, sampai jumpa.